We're here on the other side in my client's basement where you'll find the solar thermal system that I installed for them. What you'll find in a solar thermal system is traditional items that you're familiar with. First of all, we have a water heater in the event that we cannot generate enough hot water. That's our backup. We have a storage tank which stores all the hot water created by the sun. And this one happens to be 119 gallons. This particular system is what we call a drainback system. Right here you'll see this tank, and what happens with this tank is all of the water for the system stays within this tank in this conditioned space at nighttime when it's freezing and there is no available sun. That way you'll have no system failures because all of the water is right where it should be in a nice and warm space. So let me tell you how this system works. In the event that there's available sun and the sun is heating the panels and the water temperature in the panel is higher than the water temperature in the storage tank, the pump will turn on. When the pump turns on, all of the water in this drainback tank will drain back into the system where the pump is at and be pumped all the way up to the roof. The only amount of pressure in this system is what the pump can generate. It's not a high pressure system, so there's no chance of leaks. Then the water comes back down, heated, goes into the storage tank through a water-to-water heat exchanger inside this tank. The hot water is stripped away, left in this tank, and the cooler water is returned to go back up to the roof to do it all over again. Traditionally, in most people's homes, well water or city water comes in at a very cold temperature, can be as low as 45 degrees, enters into a traditional water heater, and then you heat it up. But the difference between 45 degrees and 120 degrees, or whatever yours is set at, is a big difference. So it takes all that energy to heat that cold water. Another effect of bringing cold water into the tank is it cools the water. So every time you add cold water to this, it makes this system work even harder. What we have here is a storage tank and a solar thermal systems with 4 collectors on the roof that are generating hot water. This hot water is what we introduce into the water heater. Many times our water temperature is higher than what a person would want at a tap. So what we've introduced is this mixing valve, because we can bring in up to 180 degree water from this system, so we need to cool it down. It gets too hot otherwise. Let me show you the rest of this system. Another thing we've incorporated is this pump that sends hot water to all the taps, so it's available at any time. And this may seem like a luxury, but there's a good reason why we did it. The customer was complaining that they had to run the tap for quite a long time in order to get hot water. What that was doing was reintroducing cold well water into my storage tank, which was cooling this tank down. So we only run it for a few hours in the morning for the shower time, and then we don't run it the rest of the day. But it means that they have instantaneous hot water when they're ready to use it. So let me show you more about this system. I've included another feature in this system. We generate so much hot water that we decided to periodically use it to heat interior living space. And how that works is this. Every time the furnace turns on, for the first minute, through some control wiring and some controls, it tests the temperature stored inside this tank. If there's enough available stored solar water, it turns on this pump. This pump then circulates hot water from the storage tank into an air-to-water heat exchanger. The furnace fan then turns on a slow speed and blows air over this water-to-heat exchanger, and it heats the house. Imagine on a very cold day when you need the furnace to run, that's also producing, and it's a sunny day and you're producing a lot of hot water, you could heat your house all day long as the sun is out. Let me go around to this side and we'll show you some more. I don't know if you can hear it, but this gurgling sound means that the sun is out and it's producing hot water. What happens once again is this controller is looking for a 10-degree differential between the water temperature in this tank and the temperature on the roof. And if that is met, the pump will turn on. So what we have here today, it's 12 degrees outside in this very cold March day. The sun is still very low in the sky, meaning that the angle that the sun is hitting these panels isn't at its best. So what we have right now is the collector on the roof says the water temperature is 136 degrees. Our storage tank here is 123.8 degrees, and our record high for water temperature on the collector is 176 degrees. So you can see right there that we can generate quite a bit of hot water. Once again, it is 12 degrees outside. These are, we have some other thermostats that are installed just in case the system has a malfunction. You can see what your water temperatures are, the supply and return. It's just another backup means. Everything is always about backup. We have lots of isolation valves just in case you ever need to replace anything. You'll see in the system that we have arrows indicating the color indicates the temperature. This is cold returning water back up to the solar collector. The water that's coming back down from the solar collector is red because it's hot. So you just follow the arrows. Isolation valves everywhere you can find it. In case you have to service the system, you will be able to isolate the system so you don't have to drain the entire system. That becomes very laborious. And as far as maintenance goes, basically the solar panels on the roof are made out of aluminum and glass and copper. Not a lot can happen there. The system shouldn't freeze because there's a 30% glycol solution added to it, so it shouldn't freeze, and the water is either always moving or it's sitting down here in this conditioned space. Basically, the only part in this whole system that ever would need to be replaced eventually would be this pump. And that's it.